Hello, good morning everybody. I hope you can see my screen. I'm not having any screen chat on my screen now, but I'm going to add the first one, Euro USD. So before I start, I want to start by first mentioning that, as I mentioned yesterday, I was clarifying about the concept of swap. What is swap? So swap, as I mentioned yesterday, is the amount that you are charged for holding trades overnight. So from 11th of this month until now, runs up to next month, there has not been swap on metals. So if you're somebody who's trading metals with FreshForex, you actually were not being charged swaps for holding your trades overnight. So you can now hold your trades overnight. If you're trading metals, hold your trades overnight at swap free. There's no expense at all. If your trade runs for more than a day or more than 2 days, then you can now enjoy the swap free service. So this is just an offer which runs. It started 11th of September. It's still running until now. We move to our screen. This is what we had. On this chart, there's only one thing which I want to mention here, that we have been in a sell from last week. Somehow we are still holding on to that position. So we had a level here, a support, there's a break. Price came back the first time and it used that line as a support resistance, and then it somehow continued and it came back as a resistance, and as you're speaking, the price bounced off from this level, headed straight to the lower side, but it's here to hit our take profit. So we have our take profit here. This is on the daily. We have our take profit there, and we want price to technically break below this level clearly. If price can go below this level, then we'll simply wait for a retracement before we continue selling it even lower. So as it is now, we are still into the sell which we took a few days ago, and we still expect price to proceed downwards, especially if it can go below this level. If price can successfully close below 1.0968, then that will confirm that we are continuing to the lower side. So we'll move forward. We'll move straight to our next symbol, and that should be GBP USD. GBP USD, so far we expected a sell, a buy, but then somehow the price is continuing to the lower side. So from whatever we are seeing, we have a level here. We have a very good level there, and then you also have a very good level here. Then the entire place where the price actually bounced off from is here. So we had this as support, there was a break below, it came back as a resistance, continued down, it came back, then it continued down before coming back and using this level as a resistance. So basically, after this bounce here, this was a very good place to sell from. If you checked weekly, we actually had this level here. Just look at how perfect this was. A support, there was a break, the first retracement with this inside candle, we continue down, and this is the second time the price has come back to the same place. So this was supposed to be a sell up to somewhere around this level. If you remember yesterday, I actually mentioned that although this looks like a sell, we are likely to see price climb up to this level. So I want to shift that line slightly. So the zone which I've just drawn now is actually the correct place to look for a sell from. This one. This zone which I've now drawn, this is the correct place that should price come back up to, then that will be a good place to look for a sell from. So we'll move forward. I will move forward to our next symbol, and that should be USDJPY here. USDJPY, the first thing, whatever I want to say now, is that we had a bearish pin bar on the monthly, a bearish inside bar. This looks like a pin bar, but then it's also inside the previous one. So we are getting a sell signal based on the fact this is a pin bar. But then if you look at it from the inside point of view, we still expect price to proceed upwards. So the main reason I'm not going to look for a buy on this one is because we actually have this level here where that pin bar actually hit was actually a very good resistance. So should price fail to close above this zone, the upper one, that will mean you're looking for a sell. If price fails to clearly ascend beyond 108.73, then that means we are still into a seller territory up to this level here, 104.76. So technically on this chart, I'll be looking for this level here. I'll be looking at this level. I'll be looking also at that level on top. And then I also have this. Then I have one level at the bottom, which is this one. So these are the levels to look for. If price approaches any of those lines, then that will mean you're looking for a good trade. If price comes to any of those levels, the ones which I've mentioned, that will mean we are looking for a trade. So the idea is not to look for a sell now, rather wait for price to retrace back up to any of those levels. If price can pull back to the upper one, that will be the best one. And even better if price fails to close above the upper line, the two lines which I've drawn, these two lines. If price fails to close above them, then that will give us the correct place to sell from. So technically, based on this pin bar, we are looking at a sell. If price comes back to this level and gives us a sell signal on a lesser time frame, then that will be a sell with our stop loss above this level and our take profit here. So we'll move forward to our next chart, and that should be Brent oil. We have this. Just a second, let's look at this first. SP500. On SP500 we are very much bullish. Just look at how perfect this trend line is. A resistance, a resistance, a resistance. So something like this may happen. The price may come back to this level, then bounce off from that level to the lower side. This may happen. The price may come back to this level, then bounce off from that point before heading to the lower side, or the price may break above that level. This may happen. The price may go above this level, then retrace back before we continue buying it. So these are what we expect for price to either break above that level, or it should bounce off from that level so that we look for a sell. Either way, it's that simple. We are only waiting for price to either do whatever we said. If it breaks above, we look for a buy. If it bounces off from that level, then that will mean we're looking for a sell. So the next chart, which is Brent oil, is here. Brent oil looks like we are in a sell. We have this. It looks like we are in a very good sell. A resistance. There's a move down. It came back as a resistance. It continued down. It came back as a resistance, and then we have another line from the bottom, which is at this point. So technically, if price continues to remain within this range here, we'll be waiting for a sell from the top and a buy from the bottom. If price comes back, look for a sell. If it comes back down, look for a buy. Something like this may happen. You are likely to see a break and then a retracement and then a continuation to the lower side. This may happen. This may happen, or the price may break above, then retrace back slightly up to the same trend line before it continues even higher. So on the bottom, on the last side, we're actually looking at this level here. we are looking at this and also this one. Then on the upper side, so the levels to look for, we are looking for this and also this one. So anytime the price approaches these levels, we'll be looking for a sell. So we move forward to our last symbol, and that should be gold. And one thing, as I mentioned at the beginning, you can now trade gold swap free. Swap is the amount you're charged for holding trades overnight. So if you're that person who normally have the trades running until overnight or maybe over the weekends, then you can now enjoy swap free services. So FreshForex offers swap free, like it's a commission. It's a commission which you charge for holding trades overnight. That commission you're not going to be charged no matter how long you hold your trades. From 11th of September up to 11th of October, you can now hold trades overnight, especially if you're trading metals. So get that right. Only if you're trading metals, that applies to you. You're not going to be charged swap. So we'll move forward. Look at this chart. This is bullish. We had a bullish pin bar from last week here. What this means is the price is continuing to the upper side, therefore we still expect a move to the upper side. On the daily, we have a bullish move. This is a support. This for us, it looks much better. We had this, the entire place, which is here. We had this as support, the entire place, and then we had this as a resistance, and then you also have one at the top. So as it is now, this may look like a sell because we had this as a clear level, but then I'm not going to advise a sell on this one. Instead, I want price to rise beyond that level. Then it must retrace back before we continue to the upper side up to the resistance which I mentioned. So price must first of all break above this line, retrace back, then we can continue buying it from that point up to 1555.93. That's the thing. So price must first of all break above that level before you can say that it's continuing to the upper side. Otherwise, that is going to be a very good sell place. So if price fails to break above, instead it bounces off perfectly, then that will mean you're looking for a sell from that point. If it breaks above, we're looking for a buy. So either way, we are going to expect a trade around that level. So guys, that should bring us to the end of today's market overview. We meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. See you.